And now to development in Benue State, where the Joint Security Services have arrested some suspects linked to the recent attack in Yelwata community. The State Commissioner of Police, Emenare Fwanye, announced the arrest at a press briefing on Sunday, but did not disclose the identity of this suspect. Now, this comes as locals in the community say they are yet to come to terms with the situation. They say some injured victims in the hospitals are dying daily from wounds sustained during the invasion. While support has continued to come from within and outside the state, the displaced community says they are in dire need of help to overcome the predicament that has befallen them. TVC News' Fonam Joshua visited the Yelwata community in the aftermath of the attack and has more in this report.
Crying, lamentations, anger, regrets and confusion seems to be the state in which locals and victims of the Yelwata community bandit attacks have found themselves. Friday, June 13th will always be remembered with bitter feelings, as that was the day the community witnessed an attack that killed over 200 people, including women and children, perpetrated by gunmen suspected to be Hada militiamen. Some selected communities in the North Central region have suffered a series of invasions that caused the death of many in recent times. We took a trip to the Yelwata community with the Gideon and Fumi Paramalam Peace Foundation to see the level of havoc brought upon the community. On arrival, we joined the community to mourn and bury one of the survivor victims who later died 1 week after the attack following wounds sustained during the invasion. He left behind a wife and 3 children. A few others also lost their lives in the hospital days after, as they continue to count their losses. Food banks, shops, stores, houses and grains were burnt to ashes. We were told that corpses are being recovered in the aftermath, and the number of missing persons is yet to be ascertained.
Yelwata, being at the border, has suffered this attack for a number of years now. But this renewed attack came with another dimension. It's a genocide.
The challenge we have in Benue has to do with existential problem. People who don't want our people to live on their land.
What wickedness, what heartlessness, what man's inhumanity to man that showed itself, the beast of death parading the market square of Yelwata town.
We visited this internally displaced camp hosting over 1,000 IDPs. The Peace Foundation donated some relief items, mostly food and clothing, and a cash donation.
1 week after the invasion of Yelwata community and the killing of over 200 people by gunmen suspected to be Hada militiamen, locals here in the community are looking forward for when the government will arrest and bring to book the perpetrators of this dastardly act. Justice is what they demand. Fonam Joshua, TVC News, Yelwata, Benue State.
And our reporter, Fonam Joshua, who paid a visit to that community, is live to give us an update on what life is like for them afterwards. Fonam, good to have you join us. The impact, the negative impact, so to speak, of that havoc in that community is one that is, can only be left to imagination. But you paid a visit to that community. Talk to us about what life is like 1 week after.
Thank you very much. The situation in that community, Yelwata, is a pathetic one. Locals there told us that since the aftermath of that event, they find it difficult to sleep at the moment because of the situation, what they saw, and what they are still seeing at the moment. Like you saw in the report, people are still dying. Some of the survivor victims that are receiving medical treatment at various sick bay in the state, are dying day by day. We learned that some of them, died, and then apart from that, we've seen them in a state of confusion. Like I came across a man that his store was burnt. His wife and a child were also burnt inside the shop. So the community is living in a state of confusion at the moment. looking forward for how, they will overcome this situation. It's a very protective one at the moment in Yelwata community.
It's a really sad one there. But for those that were displaced by this incident, how are they faring, especially those who reside in the IDP camp?
The situation at the IDP camp, what we saw there, it's a worrisome one, because you could see women and children, pregnant women, managing at a temporary, primary school where they are being kept at the moment. The life there, it's not a good one for them. Like I said, pregnant women, and the hygiene there, it's not really something, good for them. So they are managing life there, and the major challenge for them is food at the moment. They are in a state of confusion, and they need food to eat and be strong, to overcome this situation. So the challenge here is a very serious one for them. The government is trying, but they are calling for the government to do more. Like I said, the hygiene there for these women and children living at that IDP camp, it's not a really good one at the moment, But then the situation there are people that are coming, like you saw in the report, people that are coming, to support them with relief items. But then they are still looking forward, at least for a better place.
All right, Funom, thank you for that update. That's our reporter there, Funom Joshua, live for us in Benue. Thank you for joining us at this time.